Jon Jones and his management company went separate ways. All right. There's not a lot to see here. I understand that. But there was one thing that stood out. I mean, it's very important in the world of business that you make it very clear who broke up with who. And it's one of these tough spots where these guys, we'll call them first round management. That's what they're calling. But these guys are very good guys, good hearts, good hardworking guys, accessible, got good heads on their shoulders. They're loyal. I mean, there's a lot of big compliments I would have to give the guys that are running first round management. But first round management put out the statement. So first round management put out the statement, we're no longer working with Jon Jones. I can't help but read that and think that they dropped their client. It doesn't seem as though, and I'm guessing, it doesn't seem as though Jon calls them up, says, look, we've come far enough. This deal isn't working for me, and I've got to get other representation. And then they quickly go to a computer, type up a statement, and put it out. It just doesn't seem as though that's the way it would work. It seems as though they had the statement already done, made a phone call to Jon, and then released it, wanting the world to know we don't work with people that act like this. Because it's one of the two. One of the two are saying we don't work with people that act like this. It's either Jon saying, we've come all this way, I've given you this deal. Dana's in the public saying I wanted $30 million. I never did want it. Somebody told him I did. You were the one on that. Did you tell Dan I wanted $30 million when I told you go get me 10? I mean, it's one of these situations where this thing did turn public and one of the two of them broke up. The statement talked about it was amicable. I don't even know what that means. I don't know why somebody would bring that word into it. Why would you possibly bring that word? You know what? He called me to break up with me. And I was having the exact same thought. I was just about to call him. It was perfect timing. Like, there is no such thing. There's no such thing. It was one of your ideas. And the fact that first round put out the statement makes me think it was probably theirs. And in all fairness, they should have done this a long time ago. First round management was made to look like fools. They were drugged in and out of courtrooms. They could not get other clients because they had Jon hanging over them. Everybody's looking, going, aren't you the guy that does Jon Jones? Your client's a mess. No, I don't. No, please don't touch my deal. You managed that guy? That's how you managed that guy? He's in handcuffs and he's unhappy contractually. What else do you do as managers, right? I mean, but this is what somebody's going to say to them. They're going to say, you're allowing him to do all of these things, to which first round management is quickly going to push back and go, whoa, no, that's outside. Don't bring that in on me. That's his personal life. Okay, fine. But your client's also very unhappy with his contract. Did you negotiate that? You see the problem. You see where for a little bit of time, it seems cool to be in the corner with Jon Jones, but over a period of time when you're using Jon to bring in, it's a problem. So how do you deal with that? Well, you publicly part ways. That's what you do. That is what would be done by any management or agent that was taking serious in Hollywood. For example, they would be the one to reach out to their client and let them know you need a new manager. And it looks to me like that's what happened in this case. I don't base that on knowledge. I base that on the order of events. I base this on the fact that first round put out the statement. I just don't think that Jon would call them, tell them to kick rocks, and then they put a statement out. It seems as though if that wasn't what they wanted. The statement's very weird to start with. First round management this is the tiniest pin drop in the world of sports that there possibly is. But they put out a statement. They wanted it known. They wanted it well known, which means my hypothesis that they were being stopped. Other clients are going, whoa, if you do his deal, he behaves like a knucklehead and he's not there's nowhere here that I could just read on his Twitter feed where you have a happy client. I can't sign with you guys. That is how this appears very much. And if I am Jon Jones, however that call went, whether I made it or I received it, but you then went to the public with it, I got another problem. Right now, I can't come back. Now you've burnt a bridge because there was something that you thought was going to be gained for you and only you when you wrote the press release and put it out. Why did you want that message out? It doesn't really matter how nice it was worded and the word amicable. It does not matter. You put it out. That's to serve one of us. And if I'm no longer with you, then obviously it's to serve you. So whatever you gained by it, you had an intention of gaining something at my expense. Do you see the problem? There are people that have left their management companies 5 times in the last 5 days. None of them made a public statement. It's a very bizarre thing. And I think I know what the message is. I think the message is, hey, all the rest of you who we've tried to bring into our fold and from multiple sports, First Round does a very good job. They really do. Sounds like I'm giving a hard time. I respect those guys. I don't overly like them. I can't tell you I like those guys. I don't overly like them, but I do respect them. You call them, they pick up the phone. Big step, right? Might sound small. That's a big deal. They pick up the phone. But I feel as though they weren't able to get a lot of the athletes that they wanted because of Jon. There would be no other advantage to making a public statement that we've parted way with Jon. And you would also have to wonder, well, where is that going to go? Who is going to be the representative for Jon Jones? And what plan do they have in place? And what vetting process does Jon plan to have? Jon hasn't got one right from the beginning, but he doesn't understand this business. He's just really, really good at the sport. I say that to you because if I was going to manage Jon Jones, all right, Jon called me up and said, what would you do? What would you do differently with my career? Why should I be your manager? If I'm going to manage Jon Jones, I'm coming in with $1 million right out of the gate. I will have a contract that he will sign, so I don't have to deal with, can I trust this guy or not? Because I don't trust him. But I would hand him $1 million at signing. That is the kind of client that you would have. That is the kind of deals that you're going to go out and get. And if any other manager tried to sit at the table and say, I could do a better job than Chael, I'd say, where's your $1 million? I know I'm going to get my money back. I know I am, because I am now going to handle this, and I believe in myself, and I know specifically what I'm going to do. If you guys aren't willing to write the check, then that means you don't actually know what you're going to do. It doesn't mean you have a plan in place, and if so, you don't know that it's going to succeed. I know that my plan will succeed. And that is a very common way things are done. I can remember just being in college at the University of Oregon. We had a quarterback. He couldn't throw the ball worth a damn, but he went in the first round. He was number 2 overall pick. His name was Achilles Smith. And Achilles went out to California. He signed with the manager. And the next time I saw him, he was driving through campus in a brand new Lincoln Navigator. I pulled up to him. I said, I like your car. You mind if I ask you how you got it? He said, I signed with these guys. This was my bonus. The agents knew that if they get to be the ones that get 10% of Achilles Smith's deal, that they're going to bring in money. And as a gift and as a sign of earnest to Achilles, they gave him a $70,000 rig. Here you go. Don't worry about it. We will get all of this back because we have a plan. We believe in ourselves. And we know it will work. You trusted us, and we want to show you you've trusted guys that have a vested interest. And they did that through the form of an automobile. But that's very common. I could tell you those stories inside and out. So that is how my talk with Jon Jones would go. But anybody else that comes to the table and says, I can do better and I can get you this. Oh, let me guess how this works. I sign with you. I commit something to you before we do absolutely any of this. You have no investment. You then get on the phones and try to work backwards. And the answer would be yes. And you know what? That's what the business is. It's chicken and egg. But generally, you would start with a guy from scratch. You would go into the gym. You'd get a call from a trainer. You come down, you check out. You got this 17-year-old, this 20-year-old kid. Works real hard, showing some real promise, and you would start with him on day one. He's got nothing. You're getting nothing, but you've got a lot of work ahead for you so that if you are right and he turns out, that's generally the management business. I only bring that to you because that's the mentality that these other managers are going to have. Jon is different. Jon's going to drop one in your lap. Already signed athlete, already trained, got the skills. By the way, I am a main eventer. By the way, it's going to be for a title fight. I mean, right? It's a totally different thing. Well, I'm going to grab a hold of Jon and say, I'm going to take care of this. I will get this deal done. I will teach you all of the things that nobody ever explained to you, and I will handle this, and your numbers are going to change greatly. I'm going to take 10% of what I get you to show you I know I could get it. And I'd hand him a check across the table. And we'll see if Jon goes and finds somebody like that, because the vultures will come in. As soon as that statement went out, you can bet the vultures are calling Jon Jones. And they're licking their lips. And anybody who hasn't called Jon that is in that space is irresponsible. It would only be good responsibility to reach out and see if you could be the guy to go and represent Jon. But at some point, you're going to have a come to Jesus with your client. If this is going to be a business relationship, we're going to have some business. And sitting out and digging in as a way of making yourself a martyr just makes you unemployed.